All right, I think we have some announcements.
Yes, Your Honor, if we could start out. We have got most of mine resolved on the Wagner versus Tyson. We got to get her back in. She went to the ladies' room. Your Honor, what we're here on today, there were various motions that got reset from Judge Turnbow's docket, and we have reached an agreement. This is dealing with a 14-year-old young lady who hasn't seen her father, had any visitation for several years. And so what we're agreeing to do, Your Honor, is that the father is going to check with his health insurance coverage to see who covered providers would be, so that we could get into a therapeutic reunification for visitation evaluation. We're hoping, I think Athena may be covered under that. We've used that before in this court. But he's going to check that. They're going to provide us that, and we're going to enter an agreed order as to who the provider is going to be. Parties will cooperate with getting there for an evaluation to be done to determine what direction we need to go. Parties are free to, if whatever the evaluator suggests, parties are free to agree to that. But if we don't agree, again, ultimately we'll come back for the court to make a decision if there is a dispute on recommendations that need to be followed. Your Honor, we had mediation set at the end of this month. As Your Honor probably is aware, I had some cataract surgery that went wrong, and I'm having to have some corrective surgery on the day that we had it scheduled. So we're continuing mediation, hoping that this therapeutic visitation type thing can do it. So we're going to reset that by agreement.
Okay.
I have a motion to suspend visitation. We're going to reserve that. And then again, any cost associated with the therapeutic reunification is going to be borne by the father.
All right.
And
Everybody's
that's
in
what the
agreement on
agreement
that?
is. And again, Ms. Cothenberry has met with her client. She's appointed as the attorney ad litem, not a guardian ad litem, but the attorney ad litem for the child. So child is represented at this point in time.
All right. Then if that is the agreement, are you drafting the order?
I'll draft the order and submit it to both counsel for their approval.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good to go.
This is the Salters versus Salters.
Yes, Your Honor, we've reached an agreement on the motions. Parties are coming up. So we have reached, so first off, the agreement on the temporary parenting plan. Parties have agreed to week on, week off visitation, exchanges to occur every Friday, 6 p.m. at an agreed upon halfway point. At this time, the parties are thinking at Dollar General at the county line. Husband has mentioned that his employer will be willing to make accommodations for him to make those exchanges and to take the children to school here in Dixon County. We have agreed that child support shall be that any pendente light support shall be reserved at this time, because we have agreed to a tentative mediation date to February 25th.
Okay.
And so my motion, so the pendente light support part of my motion, I'll be reserving that until after mediation.
All right.
We've got some additional terms, Your Honor. No significant others shall participate in the drop-off or pickup unless there are extenuating circumstances.
By significant others, you mean romantic partners of
Paramours,
the
Your
parties?
Honor.
Of either party.
Of either
Alleged
party,
paramours.
and that all communication between the parties shall be limited to that required for co-parenting, and that communication shall be civil in nature.
All right. Anything else?
Just
Mr. Ms. Salters, you have lawyers who are experienced and they can help you through this process, but one of the things I would point out to you is when they tell me that only there's not to be any involvement of the paramours, these are your children. You have one child or more than one? Two children. They're your children. If you two can go through this process and put their interests first and foremost, and apparently you're doing that by having this agreed settlement to do a week on, week off. The idea being that you want to try to make sure that the children are the least affected of anyone in this situation. And if you can remember that the children love you both, and if you don't talk badly about the other parent while the children are with you, then perhaps you can have these children go through this process and be as well adjusted as possible. If, on the other hand, you start criticizing each other, or you involve some third person already involved in your life and bring them in, then you're likely to create problems for your child. So let's just keep it between the two of you and your children and try to put their interests first and foremost, okay? All right.
And we have agreed that if the father needs to use a daycare during his parenting time, he has agreed to use the mother's preferred daycare.
Mother will be a preferred daycare? is it?
The
Yes,
mother's chosen
there's a
daycare.
daycare that one of the children is already participating here in Dixon County. And so if the father requires daycare services,
Okay.
he will utilize that daycare.
All right. Then who's drawing the order?
I'll draw it, Judge.
All right, Ms. Smith will draw the order. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my business.
Thank you. I
Thank
hope
you, Your
you have recovered sufficiently from the flu.
I'm still feeling kind of slow.
Well, I can tell you that it takes, I tested positive for flu and then didn't have really any symptoms. And then about a week later, it hit with full vengeance and I was out during the Christmas holiday. But it's still with me and I'm assuming it will
all I
be.
wanted to do was sleep. It just knocked me
So I
out.
hope none of you end up with the flu because there's apparently a bad strain going around. So,
It was certainly no fun.
all right.
Thank you, Your
Good
Honor.
luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, on the Kathy matter, we have an agreement on that.
Okay?
Miss Kathy, can you push on up, please? Miss Kathy, come on up. Your Honor, I represent Miss Brenda Kathy, who's coming up in the wheelchair here, and the defendant in this matter is Mr. Steve Kathy, who's approaching. He currently is not represented, but I had an opportunity to talk with him. And what we are doing, Your Honor, subject to the court's approval, the parties own property out on Fortner Road where my client resides. She is going to be granted the sole exclusive temporary possession of that property. And Mr. Kathy will be responsible for paying the taxes and the insurance that he has always paid on that. And that's going to be the temporary order of the court. I think Mr. Kathy has reached out and may be talking with Ms. Duke about retaining her on the divorce, but this is just a Band-Aid scenario that we're going to work out and do that. So if we could just put them both under oath so they can acknowledge.
Both of you
their
raise your right
consent.
hand. Let's place you under oath.
Raise your right hand. Brenda Kathy, is that correct? Yes. And Miss Kathy, we've discussed just getting a temporary matter where you're secured. And taxes and insurance that you always have. You receive Social Security payments that recognize those. And then Mr. Kathy is on Social Security disability also. You are going to pay your debt, but you maintain your lifestyle accordingly, and then we'll come back to resolve the remainder. And you agree with that, is that correct? Yes. And Mr. Kathy, you've heard what I've announced. You and I had a discussion out in the hallway or out in the conference room, and we're just maintaining status quo. And you understand, you have told me there's some personal items still at the house that are your mother's, and you understand we're gonna work towards getting that resolved. But right now, she's getting possession of the home. You're gonna maintain the taxes and the insurance. Of course, the taxes are about to become due, and so you're gonna maintain those. And you've done that historically, and you're fine in agreeing to that. All right?
All right.
Thank you, and I'll draft the order and send a copy.
This will be an order of the court effective today, even though it'll take a few days for the written order since we've affirmed it on court. So good luck to both of you. All right, thank you. All right,
Judge, we were able to come to a 50-50 agreement, a joint parental relationship for the parties, primary residential parents. The father will have Sunday at 6 p.m. to Tuesday at 6 p.m. with the exception of today. The child is already in the mother's care today and dad's going to go back to work. So with that exception, that'll be the schedule. The mother will have Tuesday at 6 p.m. to Thursday at 6 p.m. And then the parties will rotate the weekend with the mother having the first weekend. So the rotated weekends will be Thursday at 6 p.m. to Sunday at 6 p.m. Both parties have agreed today that they will keep the house neat and straight, and if it becomes an issue, they'll take a picture at the beginning of the visit and at the end of the visit to prove otherwise. Each will pay 1/2 of the bills, routine bills, which would include health insurance, house insurance, utilities, lunch at school for the kids, half of extracurriculars,
Mortgage.
the mortgage, correct? All of the routine expenses for the parties. The house will be listed with Redbird Realty. They've got a family member involved with Redbird Realty, so the parties are of the understanding that on the seller side, there will be zero commission taxed on that. And the parties will follow specifically the statutory grounds in the very back of the parenting plan that they're required to go by, but they're also going to agree to no alcohol or controlled substances before or during the care of the children, no romantic or sexual partners present during residential time with the children. Both parties must inform each other of the children's phone numbers and address changes and physical time spent along the address and stayed at during their visitation time. And outside of normal childcare, they've got normal childcare with both grandparents helping out. Outside of that normal childcare, if the parties are going to be without the children for more than 3 hours during their visitation time, that time will be offered to the other parent.
All right.
And again, Your Honor, the kids are 12, 9, 6, and 1. So we've got
They're what?
12, 9, 6, and 1. So there's 4 children, three of which are in school.
4 girls.
And all girls. So,
I'm
you know.
not sure who I should feel sorry for. So I'm
and
sure
they-
that's probably true.
Right, so they've got four young ladies in the home, one of which is not in school yet. My client's mother, the maternal grandmother, keeps the children, particularly the youngest, and assists on Monday and Tuesday. His mother keeps on Thursday. They're going to continue to do that. And then my client's off on Wednesdays, so she'll have the children. So we've worked this out to try to move forward. It's basically a 5-2-2-5 schedule. Both these, it's working out to where we're just kind of trying to transition, Your Honor.
Trying to do what's best for the children for purposes of
It's
continuity.
always the best way to try to proceed if you're going to have to go through a divorce. Both of you understand what you've agreed to then, and both of you, Ms. Spurlock and Mr. Spurlock, agree that those are going to be the terms of this temporary order. It's just temporary, but by doing so, you've both got probably and I need to caution myself, you have 2 of the better lawyers, the best lawyers that practice in front of me on a regular basis. And
I need that down, transcribed, please.
among many other fine lawyers, but I'm familiar with both of them. I practiced against them when I was still practicing, and they're both very, very zealous advocates for you as a client. But they will give you good advice. So if you run into a problem, contact them. Don't blow up the situation without talking to your lawyer first. And I think that it is admirable that you're putting the best interest of your children first, and that's a good way to start this process if it is going to happen. So I'll be glad to approve the order, and it will become an order today, so that it may take a few days to get the order signed, but when it is announced like this, then that will be a situation where it becomes effective immediately. So
One thing we did not mention is the parties are going to move in and out of the home for their scheduled time, and
took that as from what you were saying about the photography of the inside of the house. So.
and the husband will be allowed into the residence this evening after work to get his belongings, which are not much, but the parties have agreed that that's not an issue.
Got a long way to go with a 1-year-old, I think, to raise these children together. So keep that in mind, and you're just starting down a long process of trying to raise them. So, all right, good luck to both of you.
Thank you, Your Honor,
Thank you, Judge.
appreciate it.